It's a fur trader's joke, Reeves. You'll freeze in that felt bucket.
Robert Reeves didn't answer. His hands never stopped, lashing the thick gray felt over the round lattice frame.
What if they're right? What if this round tent can't hold against a real mountain winter?
The shaggy dog circled the structure, barking at the hecklers, while a thin wisp of smoke rose from the roof ring.
Easy, boy. They don't know any better.
Robert had learned in a hard school that winter doesn't kill with cold, it kills with moving air.
You hear me, Reeves. That thing will fold like paper in a real blow. We'll find out, Nathan, soon enough.
Please let him be right.
The first heavy flakes began to fall. The round tent stood like a foreign promise against the gray sky, a silent question mark on the frontier. But in the falling snow, a buried memory clawed its way up. A younger Robert collapsing on a frozen step, his life leaking into the ice. A foreign hand had pulled him from that white death. A stranger who owed him nothing, yet gave him everything. Inside a round felt tent, the man had shown Robert a design that breathed with the wind instead of fighting it.
Robert, are you sure about this? The whole valley thinks you are a fool.
I've seen what this design can do. Trust me, Sarah. Please.
I want to. But if this fails, there won't be a second chance.
It won't fail. I made a promise to. It won't fail.
Look, Ma. I tied this one all by myself.
Robert watched his son and felt the weight of the stranger's lesson, a debt that could only be repaid by passing the knowledge on. By dusk, the felt walls stood complete. The round tent was a foreign silhouette against the darkening sky, and the snow kept falling. By midday, Robert had the iron stove set in the center, the flue pipe aimed straight through the roof ring. Smoke curled skyward like a signal.
Is it safe? Having a fire inside a felt house?
Safer than a drafty cabin. The felt breathes, and the smoke goes straight up.
Before moving in, Robert painted a small red arrow on the door, a silent mark of a debt he would never explain.
This is still a fool's shelter, Reeves. You'll regret it when the real winter comes. We'll all see, Nathan. Soon.
Nathan spat into the snow and turned away, but his unease was visible as he glanced back at the round tent. That night, the stove glowed red inside the jar. The family listened as wind tested the round walls and found no corner to tear at.
It's like a big warm cave, Pa.
Outside, snow piled against the round walls. Inside, the Reeves family slept deeper than they had in weeks. Weeks passed. Each snowfall, each gust, the round tent stood and the family stayed warm. But the real test was still coming. Then, one afternoon, the wind died. The sky flattened to a slab of iron. Robert felt it, the air being pulled away, gathering its forces.
This is the one, Sarah. Get Thomas inside. I'll secure the lines.
He moved fast, lashing extra ropes over the felt, checking every knot. The dog paced, whimpering at the stillness.
God help us. He looks so certain. But that sky...
Reeves is jumping at shadows. My cabin stood 20 winters. That round thing will be his grave. They'll see. When the wind comes from all sides and their walls crack.
The first gust slammed into the jar, ropes groaning. The round walls shrugged and the wind slid past. Across the settlement, windows rattled. Men stoked their stoves and glanced at Nathan's cabin, hoping he was right. Robert pulled the door flap tight and sat beside the stove. Outside, the gale began to scream. The blizzard struck with a fury that shook the mountains. Wind slammed the square cabins like fists on boards, but the jar's curve shed the gale like water off a smooth stone.
Pa, will it hold?
It will hold.
In Nathan's cabin, the wind found every crack. A draft howled through a gap, freezing the corner solid and biting through clothing.
Confounded weather. Nothing keeps it out.
Nathan shoved rags into the gap, but the wind tore them loose with a shriek. A shingle ripped from the roof. Glass shattered somewhere in the dark.
20 winters this cabin stood. Now it's crumbling like a dried leaf.
Robert, it's so loud, but I can't feel the cold seeping in.
Because the wind can't find a flat face to hammer against. It slides around us, not through us.
The storm screamed through the valley. Inside the jar, The family huddled in eerie calm. Outside, the settlement's true test had only begun. Dawn broke pale and strange. The wind had carved the world into new shapes. Cabins lay half-buried. The round tent alone seemed untouched.
How? How is it still standing?
It's not a box, Nathan. No corners to catch the wind.
But even as he spoke, Robert's eyes swept the ridges. The snow load up there was deadly. He had won this round, but the mountain was just getting started.
We're not safe yet. That snow on the peaks is unstable. We have to move the Jer downslope.
Move the whole tent? In this cold? Robert, that's madness.
Madness is staying where an avalanche can reach us. I promised to keep you alive. This is how.
You'd abandon us after the storm. We need help.
I am not abandoning you. I am trying to save my family. You should do the same.
Distant, but unmistakable, a deep crack echoed from the mountain peak. The snowpack was waking up. Another crack split the silence. Robert didn't wait. He threw open the door and began hauling down the felt panels.
Sarah, help me with the lattice. Thomas, grab the sled. We do this now, or we don't see tomorrow.
But the stove, it's still red hot. How can we move it?
Wrap it in wet felt. The steam will cool it fast. Just move.
They worked like demons. Lattice folded, felt rolled, stove strapped. The Jer vanished piece by piece onto the sled.
Reeves, you'll freeze out there. It's suicide to leave now.
We'll freeze if we stay. That mountain is coming down. I've seen it happen.
Sarah took Thomas's hand. The dog plunged ahead, breaking trail. Robert heaved the sled and didn't look back.
I don't dare look up at the peaks. Just follow the dog and pray.
Behind them, Nathan and the others stood in the ruins of the settlement, watching the only man with a plan vanish into the snow. The trail dropped steeply. Thomas slipped on an icy patch, and Robert caught him by the coat before the boy vanished into the drift.
Keep moving, son. The sled is lighter on the downhill. Don't you quit on me now.
Sarah pushed on, refusing to glance at the peak. The air tightened with each step, and the mountain's groan grew heavier. The dog broke through a snowdrift into a shallow, sheltered valley. The family stumbled after, gasping in the thinner wind.
Down here. We'll put the Jer up. This valley will shield us from the worst of it.
The lattice frame rose again, trembling in the wind. Robert drove the first peg with fierce blows, his breath a cloud of steam.
Sarah, hold the ring. That noise isn't the storm. It's the mountain shifting.
A deep, rolling crack echoed across the valley. Not wind, but the sound of something giving way miles above them.
It's coming now. Sarah, get that first felt panel over the frame. Now.
The roar swelled into a thunder that shook the earth. The lattice stood bare, and over the ridge, a white cloud began to rise. A wall of snow and rock swallowed the settlement whole, a white death that ground everything to splinters in seconds.
Oh God, the cabins, the people.
Timbers snapped like twigs. The square cabins that had stood for decades vanished into the churning white chaos.
Pa, are they all gone?
I don't know, son, but we're alive because we moved. Help me finish the tent.
In shock, they worked in silence. Felt panels rose over the lattice, tied with numb fingers, sealing the round shelter.
Light the stove, Sarah. Those people might still need shelter, if any survived.
The stove crackled to life. Orange light flickered against the felt walls, pushing back the cold and the dark.
We're alive. Against all odds, we're alive, but the silence outside, it's haunting.
Outside, the avalanche had erased the valley. The round tent stood alone in the white wasteland, a tiny beacon of life. The Jer had become an arc on a sea of snow. Inside, the stove's warmth wrapped around the family, but their hearts were cold with grief.
Pa, did anyone make it? Could Nathan have?
I don't know, son. We'll watch for survivors. But for now, we're the lucky ones.
God, please, if there's any mercy, let them have found shelter.
She prays for the same people who called me a fool. And here we are, the Fool's Ark.
Night fell, and the wind outside dwindled to a moan. The round tent held firm, its felt walls breathing with the dying storm.
I can't sleep, Pa. Every time I close my eyes, I see the snow swallowing everything.
Then think of the warmth. Thomas, think of the smoke rising steady. We're safe, your father saw to that.
Sleep now. Tomorrow we search, and the world will know that a round tent saved us.
One by one, they surrendered to exhaustion. Outside, the snow blanketed a broken world. Inside, the Jur cradled the only living souls for miles. First, light revealed a white world. The dog stood at the door, ears flat, whining at some unseen thing beyond the felt.
Robert, there are people out there. In the distance, shapes, moving toward us.
Robert pushed past the flap. Dark figures stumbled through the snow, led by a frostbitten man whose face was all too familiar.
Please, Reeves. We have nowhere else. The cabins are gone. We barely made it.
The man who called this tent a joke. Now, he's begging at my door.
Robert, they'll die out there. Please, you can't let past words cost lives.
She's right. But if I let them in, they'll never understand what it cost me to build this place.
We were wrong. I was wrong. That round tent. It's the only thing still standing.
This is the moment. The moment my debt and my pride collide.
Robert stood in the doorway, the weight of a promise pressing against his chest. The round tent had saved his family. Now it would test his soul. Slowly, Robert stepped aside. The felt door fell open, and the refugees stumbled into the warm amber glow.
Please, Nathan, get near the stove before you freeze. Here, drink this.
Thursday, thank you, Reeves. You were right. This round tent saved our lives.
It wasn't me. It was the design. The wind can't find a corner to tear apart.
Nathan shook his head, water dripping from his beard. The joke was on him now.
He says it wasn't him, but I see the weight he carries. A debt from long ago.
They think it's just a tent. They don't know the promise it represents.
Pa, is everyone going to stay with us now?
For now, we'll make room. This Jur was built to shelter more than 3.
The round tent swelled with bodies, but the stove kept burning. Outside, the wind still searched for cracks it would never find. A refugee, her shawl frozen stiff, asked the question burning in every mind: who had taught Robert to build such a tent?
A friend. A long way from here.
He offered no more, his gaze fixed on the stove's red glow. The crowded Jur fell silent except for the crackling fire.
Pa, I want to know the whole story. The real one. Not just the tent, the reason.
Robert turned, his son's eyes searching his. For a moment, the weight of an old debt pressed down on his chest.
Soon, son. I promise. When the time is right.
He glanced at the red arrow on the door. In his mind, a flicker of a foreign face, a man pointing to a roof ring.
The boy deserves to know, but the telling must be for everyone, not just him.
The round tent felt smaller now, not from the crowd, but from the truth pressing to be released. Outside, the wind had died. Inside, a story waited to be born. Morning came without wind. Pale sunlight streamed through the roof ring, catching the smoke like a golden thread.
We need firewood. I'll take a couple men with the sled, if you trust us to come back.
Trust you? You are the one who said I'd freeze. But take the sled. Stay close.
I earned that. But we'll bring back wood, and maybe prove we're worth saving.
Sarah moved among the refugees, counting out strips of dried meat with careful hands. The Jur was a pantry now, not just a shelter.
We've food for 3 days if we're careful. After that, we'll need to hunt or hope for a miracle.
We'll make it. Nathan's out for wood. The round walls will keep our heat. Just keep faith.
The Jur hummed with the low murmur of survivors. Old resentments softened into shared survival.
They're not the same people who mocked me. The snow stripped away their pride.
Outside, the world lay buried. Inside, the round tent taught them all how to survive together. Nathan returned with a sled of deadfall, his face grim. He had seen the avalanche's full path, Timbers, stones, no survivors. That evening, the stove glowed brighter as the storyteller finally began to speak. The refugees leaned in.
I wasn't always a settler. I've seen winter in places that make this look kind. Years ago, I ended up on a frozen steppe. No trees, no shelter. Just endless white and a wind that scraped the skin.
The listeners saw not the warm Jer, but a barren steppe, a younger Robert crawling through crusted snow, life draining from him.
How'd you survive that? A man can't last alone in such a place.
Robert's voice softened. The memory of a foreign hand reaching into the white void surfaced with painful clarity.
A man found me, a stranger who owed me nothing. He dragged me into his felt tent and saved my life.
He paused, the red arrow on the door glinting in the firelight. The deepest part of the story was still locked away. The refugees waited, feeling the weight of an unspoken debt. Outside, the night held its breath.
He taught me that a round wall lets the wind slide, not crash. That felt can breathe, but hold heat. That mobility is worth more than a foundation.
The refugees glanced around at the lattice and felt, suddenly seeing not just a tent, but a lifeboat engineered by a foreign hand.
Who was he, Pa? You never told us his name.
Robert's throat tightened. A name was a sacred thing, a key to a debt he'd never fully repay.
His name. It's not a name I can speak lightly. It's bound to a promise I made.
A flash of the old man's face, weathered, kind. Then it faded like breath in the cold. The silence inside the jar was so deep that the crackle of the stove sounded like thunder.
Tell them, Robert. They need to know who saved you, and why this tent makes us all survivors.
She's right. But Charles, speaking his name makes the debt feel fresh, and the loss sharper.
Robert lifted his head. The red arrow on the door seemed to glow, a silent witness to the promise he was about to keep. Later, when the refugees had settled into uneasy sleep, Robert and Sarah stood alone outside the jar.
You carry it like a stone, Robert. Tell them. It's a good story.
It's more than that. It's a debt I've been repaying brick by brick, or felt by felt.
He drew an old leather notebook from his coat, its pages filled with Mongolian-like sketches, a lifetime ago.
His name was Charles. He saved me on that step, and he taught me this design before he died. I made him a promise that his knowledge wouldn't die in the snow with him, that I'd carry it forward.
Then let them understand the debt. They need to know why this tent makes survivors of us all.
Tomorrow, when the sun's up, they need to know why we're alive, and who made it possible.
At last, the stone will roll away, and maybe he'll find peace.
They turned back to the glowing jar. Inside, the survivors slept on, unaware that the morning would bring the story that stitched their shattered world together. Come morning, the jar filled with hushed expectation. Robert stood before them, the notebook in hand, the red arrow at his back.
His name was Charles. He was a trader from a land so far away the maps barely show it. He found me half dead on that steppe, wrapped me in furs, and gave me a place by his stove. I promised him his knowledge wouldn't die. That's why I built this tent, and why I'll build more.
He touched the red arrow on the door, a mark of that vow, now seen by all.
We owe him too, and you, Reeves.
Number. We owe each other survival. The tent is just the vessel. Charles's spirit is the sail.
The jar seemed to hum with a new warmth. The felt walls, a testament to a debt repaid across oceans.
He's finally free of it. The stone is gone.
And in the silence that followed, 1,000 miles away, a Mongol trader's legacy lived on. A long silence followed. Then Nathan rose, his voice cracked with the weight of his earlier scorn.
I called it a joke. A fur trader's joke. It became my salvation. I am sorry, Reeves.
You were wrong, Nathan. But we're past that. Help us build more.
They shook hands. The division that began in scorn ended in solidarity. The round tent was no longer foreign. It was the future.
We'll teach anyone who wants to learn. Charles would have wanted that.
That day, plans were drawn in the snow. The red arrow would mark every new jur, a silent debt passed from hands to hands.
I thought it was a joke. Now I see it's a lifeline. I lash the felt on everyone.
Then you'll understand the debt yourself. Every knot you tie, every wall you raise, it honors him.
One by one, the survivors stepped forward to learn. The round tent had become their ark, and now it would be their legacy. And above them, the smoke rose steady, a single column from a design that refused to let the wind win. As the sun sank behind the buried valley, the survivors gathered not in mourning, but in resolve.
This plateau will be our new home. We'll build more jars and teach the design to anyone who comes.
Let me help raise the next one. I want to honor the man who saved you.
Each door will bear the red arrow, so Charles's spirit lives in every home.
By the time the snow melted, a circle of round tents stood on the high ground, a testament to a promise. At night, the first jar glowed like a lantern, its light a beacon across the white sea.
I carried a debt for years. Now I see it wasn't a burden. It was a seed.
The joke had become the lifeline, and the debt, once heavy, was paid in full. And somewhere on a distant steppe, an old Mongol trader smiled down. The round felt tent, once a joke, now sheltered a community reborn under the same stars. Spring arrived, melting the snow and revealing the green valley below. The circle of round tents stood proud. Thomas, now older, helped a new boy tie a felt knot. The knowledge passed to another generation.
That's it, son. Pull it tight. A good knot keeps the wind outside.
The dog dozed in the sun by the original jar, the red arrow still bright on the door. Late one evening, Robert stood alone on the ridge, the stars emerging one by one.
Wherever you are, Charles, thank you. Your tent became more than a shelter.
A faint breeze rustled the felt walls, as if the old trader was answering. No debt remained unpaid, only peace, and the quiet knowledge that the round tent had changed their world. And inside the jar, the next generation slept soundly, protected by a design born on a distant steppe. The story was not over. It had only just begun to spin its thread across the frontier. As dusk fell, the first jar glowed like a lantern on the high plateau, the red arrow catching the last light. Robert walked over, the dog rising to meet him. He stood before the door, a lifetime in the pause. His hand found the painted arrow, the symbol of a debt now repaid.
Rest easy, old friend. The wind still hasn't found us.
The dog settled at his feet, and the felt walls breathed gently in the evening air. Robert lifted his eyes to the emerging stars, the weight of years finally gone. And in the twinkling above, a faint smile seemed to answer. A trader from a distant steppe, at peace. The round tent stood, a beacon of warmth and memory, its light pushing back the dark. Inside, his family slept, and the circle of jars on the plateau whispered of a promise kept. And the story, born in scorn, ended in salvation under the same stars.